Namaste, I'm your German snob and I welcome you all back to another episode of The Path. And today we are going to take a look at the story of our second character. Now, as I said, I'm going to do this by age. We started off with the youngest last time, which was Robin, who is 6 years old. So today we are going to do Rose, who is 11. And in case you wonder why I know that, I actually looked it up on Wikipedia. So that I can do this in the proper order. Well, not that it is in any way recommended to play it by age, but I thought it would add a nice theme to this game. And I don't think there could be anything wrong about that. So as I said, Rose it is. And in case you're wondering, I'm going to cut out the rest of this loading screen, which, well, forget about it, it's just ended. Well, that's an idea I should have had earlier. But yeah, this is largely the same intro as the last time, but I would like to keep it because, after all, it is part of the game. So here we go again, The Path. By the way, I looked it up. This game was made by two people in Lithuania, I think. Lithuania, as we all know, of course, being the southernmost country in the Balticum. So pretty much northern Eastern Europe. I don't know. I thought I might point it out. After all, these are countries some people might actually be not familiar with. Or at least not be familiar with their exact geographic location. So therefore, I just want to add that. But yeah, let's get to the game. As always, it's all about straying off the beaten path and exploring what lies in the forest. And there does seem to be a structure in reach. Whatever this might be. We can't really tell quite yet. It does seem to be some sort of building. And as always, there's our constant, I wouldn't exactly say friend, but as always there's the constant presence of the white-dressed girl. A piano on a stage. People used to come here and see concerts or theater. I wish I could play for them. Well, maybe we can. Maybe we can play the piano. Can we sit on this bench? It would seem that way because the game does highlight it. But no, Rose doesn't seem to want to interact with it. So maybe it is the piano that we are going to take a look at now. Let's see about that. Maybe Rose can play. Or maybe she can't. Maybe she just wants to look at it. It is very hard to make out the writing. I'm a little rose making sweet... I'm sorry, I couldn't read it. And I assume that neither could you. So that is kind of a shame, but it is often very hard to see the white writing on a light background. Now what's here? It looks like there used to be more benches. And we can sit on one. How about that? To be in the mist, to be mist, to be mist, to miss, is to be. Well, looks like we have a little poet on our hands. I don't know. She is supposed to be 11 years old. Maybe that's when some people start to develop that kind of interest. Though I would assume that it is quite rare. We, however, will venture deeper into the forest. I think I can see another structure farther ahead. And maybe there is going to be something. From here it looks rather like... yeah, like the graveyard we visited last time with Robin. Well, maybe Rose will be able to find something there for her too. The cycle of life and death knows no beginning and no end. The circle of life, as we all know, from The Lion King. But maybe that's not the thing to reference here. Though I actually got to see that musical live once, in Hamburg. That's worth seeing, but I digress. Well, let's take a look at that skull. Robin didn't seem to be interested in that. Maybe she didn't understand its significance. Rose, however, does. The dead go in the dirt, while the souls fly to the sky. That is something that we tell ourselves. But maybe it is just that. Maybe it's just a story. Something to make the thought about our lives ending more bearable. Now let's see what else we can find in the graveyard. That bird's nest. Robin did interact with it. Maybe that's not surprising with a name like Robin. Rose, however, doesn't seem to be interested. And not in the tree either. So, is there nothing else for us at this graveyard? While the sky is turning red. There are noises in the distance, like something breaking, or a thunderstorm far away. But I don't think it's for us to be concerned about. What is for us to be concerned about is that we were stuck on this grave. But not anymore. Now we can just go ahead. There seems to be plenty of things in this forest. Even now I already see another structure. Surely worth investigating. After all, there is no real sense of danger here. And maybe that's wrong. All kinds of things can be in a dark forest. Now, what would that be? It looks like a bottle, but it is for someone else to pick up. And otherwise the entryway to whatever this was, the stone structure, seems to be boarded off. So I'm sure this is a place for someone else to find eventually, and maybe rediscover. And maybe there will be something for her, but not for us. There, however, does seem to be something there for us. Here in the lake, covered in mist, rather reminding me of Silent Hill. A boat? Well, that is interesting. Now it reminds me even more of Silent Hill. Hello clouds, welcome on Earth. Well, I'm not sure if you've played it, but the ending of, well, not quite the ending, but the beginning of the last act of Silent Hill 2 involved crossing a lake with a boat. I'm not sure if there was some symbolic significance behind it, but I would wager there was, because, well, Silent Hill 2 was a game that played a lot with symbolism. Of all different kinds, really. Though maybe not quite as heavily as this game does. Of course, one might call a game like The Path slightly pretentious, maybe. But I wouldn't necessarily agree. I think that this is a game with a strong atmosphere and a strong overarching theme. If it conveys it in the most efficient way is of course another question. But personally, I'm not against abstract symbolism in a video game. And maybe I'm a bit more patient with that kind of thing than many other people are. Because I'm not a quick person to call media pretentious. Actually, I don't really like that word. I think it's often used as an excuse to not think about things. Or at least sometimes. Well, anyway, how about that boat? Let's get on it. Cross over the lake, get shrouded in mist. Let's see what will happen to us. Perhaps what is going to happen to us isn't going to be that pleasant. But I think that's all left open to interpretation. We can't really tell what that being is. What kind of weird apparition is there in the middle of the lake? It looks like a being made out of fog. Maybe vaguely humanoid? A ghost maybe, or a spirit of some sort. That's what it would look like. A spirit. Is it malevolent or benevolent? There is no way to tell. However, it does seem to have an interest in Rose. What kind of interest, of course, we don't know. However, once again we find ourselves right in front of Grandmother's house. Now after we've been spirited away. So the only thing left to do is to pick ourselves up and go to our destination. Go to Granny's house, as we did with Rose. However, what Rose found there was maybe not all that pleasant. So there is not much hope that it will be any better for Rose. And I just realized I misspoke. What Robin found there, of course, was not all that pleasant. But hey, Nonetheless, we have to confront whatever lays ahead on our path. Even if we know that it might scare us, or that it may confront us with certain realities that we don't like to face. Of course, the thing about realities is that they are non-negotiable, that they are an objective fact, not something to be denied or to be ignored. So all that's left to do is go ahead. And in case you're wondering, I'm not actually pushing anything. Rose walks on her own, right into the house, which would look so innocent from the outside, though we know that it will probably do less so on the inside. It is like it reflects something. And here we are. We hear the familiar sounds. Sounds that might be discomforting, but nonetheless we have to go ahead. Even the rain seems to follow us, and the fan, like a trap made of blades, right there. It doesn't seem to hurt us. And that picture shows a path in the night. What it signifies, we don't know. Maybe it's just a path again. So here we go, always ahead, no matter what waits for us. A bathroom, all in red. But not just a bathroom, a line of bathrooms. It would look like it's a women's bathroom. I don't see any urinals around here. Of course, not that it would make sense for Rose, to go into a man's bathroom. And the corridor, as always. Another reflection of the path, a line leading straight ahead. One that we can't digress from, one that we have to follow. Where there are only two directions, backwards and forwards, and the rest is walled off. And in we go, into a room filled with fog. And objects spinning around. A chaos disorder. Maybe something that many find inside of them at the age that Rose is in, 11 years old. Kind of the cusp between being a kid and being a teenager. Maybe the first point when we start to notice changes in us. Maybe some of them that may seem scary, disquieting even. A sort of disorder, a chaos inside of us. And maybe what is inside of our young characters is what is reflected in these little scenes inside of grandmother's house. I think that's something that you can take away from this. It's what I take away from this. But I am just your German snob. And this was another episode of Let's Play the Path. And I hope I will be able to welcome you all back next time. Until then, well, have a good time. Enjoy yourself and ciao.